So I'm in a beautiful Venetian hotel here with Jim Zuckerman. We are here for the Venice Carnival. Tomorrow is the last day of the carnival, and Jim is here to lead a workshop with some people shooting Venice and the people who make this carnival such a lively and interesting experience. So, Jim, can you please introduce yourself to our audience? Who is Jim Zuckerman?
Well, I'm a professional photographer. I've been a photographer for 40 years, and a large part of my business now is leading photography tours all over the world. And one of the great places I go is here in Venice for Carnival.
And what's so special about Venice and the carnival in particular?
Well, you have incredible costuming, mysterious masks set in a medieval environment. It's a combination that is unbeatable. And every year I come, the costumes are different, the colors are outrageous, and it's just really exciting to photograph.
And what are your recommendations for people who want to come here and photograph at the carnival and get the best out of it?
To get the best pictures, I think you have to have some preconceived ideas. You should do research online and look at what other photographers have done. When you admire their work, emulate them, go off on your own tangent, of course, but you want to look for good backgrounds, good lighting, great costuming. The models here are extremely accommodating. They'll pose for you any way you want, and so I think that if I could give one little piece of advice, the biggest thing would be to watch your backgrounds. You don't want other tourists in there. You don't want busy or distracting backgrounds. You want the backgrounds to complement the picture. And photographers frequently overlook that.
Uh-huh.
I think backgrounds are just as important as the subject.
I guess that's not easy here because from my
Well,
recollection of coming here a couple times, it tends to be quite crowded, especially in places like St. Mark's Square with all the tourists coming and going around and wanting to take a selfie of themselves with people in costumes. So I think you
yes,
get to be have some inventive and be patient.
you have to get up early and go there before the tourists go.
Hmm.
My group, for example, leaves the hotel at 6:15. We get to San Marco when it's still dark. Dawn is just coming, and the only people there are costumed people who want to be photographed in a beautiful environment without the tourists, and photographers. All the other tourists, they have breakfast, they get up late, they get into San Marco at 9:30, 10, 11. You know, then you can't shoot anymore. Then you have to go to other places or have private shoots or know where the models are going to be where the massive tourists are not.
Yeah, I will take your advice. It's my first time that I'm here in Venice for the carnival for more than one day. I came here a couple times previously, and only getting here late in the morning with the train from outside. So yeah, it's probably not the same. So tomorrow morning, I'm probably going to get up early and follow your advice.
Correct. Yeah, I'll be there too.
Okay, good. Maybe we meet again. And for the people that wear costumes, I mean, they're putting a lot into this. You say they are there in the early morning and probably staying there until the golden hour or the blue hour,
Right.
and then maybe they have night shoots in palaces and hotels, and they do this for days on end, and they invest probably a lot of money in their very beautiful costumes.
Time,
So
money, creativity.
yeah,
That's
so
right.
it's really amazing. What pushes those people to do that, and how can we,
Well,
as photographers, do our best to
they they want pictures of themselves in these beautiful places, and so when they see that you're a serious photographer, they give you their card, hoping you'll send them some pictures. They don't expect prints. They want you to email them pictures so they can put them on Facebook and so on. You know, their passion is costuming.
Mhm.
Mine's photography, and so it just works together beautifully. They do spend a lot of money on their costuming. I've asked quite a few of them how much they've spent, and almost to a person they say, we don't want to know. And you know, they every year they come with a different costume. Some of them come with 3 or 4 costumes. One carnival, 3 or 4
Yeah.
costumes. It's incredible. And for us, it's great because we love photographing it. For them, it's great because they get the pictures.
And they never wear the same costume as the previous year.
Um, it would be uncouth.
Yeah.
It'd be gauche
Can
to do that.
imagine.
I've seen it a couple times, but probably because they're busy, they don't have time. But 99% of the people always have new costumes.
How many years have you been coming to Venice?
This is my 10th.
10th year. Wow. I guess you have built a lot of relationship with those people, so you know who are the best, where to find them, how to arrange.
I do, but what's very funny is when they come up to me, give me a hug, and I don't know who they are because they've got a mask on.
And they're not in the same costume as the year before.
That's right,
So.
different costume, that's right.
And I noticed those people, they don't tend to talk a lot, so yeah, they're pretty silent.
They don't talk a lot. First of all, their voices are muffled behind the mask, so it's hard to hear. And second of all, they may not speak English. And third of all, they may not know. They may not want you to know what gender they are.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a guy under there dressed in a feminine outfit, and they're usually pretty silent.
Yeah.
Because it's an illusion. These are fantasy creatures. When they take their masks off, they're real people, and it's almost disappointing, because when they're masked, they're this ethereal fantasy creature that is very mysterious, and you don't know who or what they are. As soon as they talk, then it changes everything.
Yeah. You spoil the mystery a bit.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a mysterious aspect of it.
That's part of the allure.
Yeah, amazing. So speaking of something else, I would just like to quote a sentence from your website, speaking about workshops and so on. On your website, you say your philosophy, you expose your philosophy of workshops, and you say the pictures are paramount. The people who travel with me know they will take the best pictures of their lives. My trips are not relaxing, however. We actually get up early, as you said before, and often stay out late, depending on the light. We deal with heat, cold, dust, and sometimes long drives and bad roads. I guess that doesn't apply to Venice. There are no roads here, but you've got to do a lot of walking.
But
right?
lots of walking.
Yeah. And it's all to take great photographs. So that's your philosophy. I guess if your trips are not relaxing for your guests, they must be quite intense for you too. And considering that after this tour, I was looking at your program, next tours on your website, and I'm just mentioning a few. You have snowy owls in Canada, horses in France, followed by frogs in Missouri, wildlife in Minnesota, then Indonesia, Kenya, China, the US Southwest, Greece, Brazil, and Cuba. And this is only for 2016. So how do you manage to do all of this without getting burned out or physically exhausted? Do you have a secret recipe?
Well, I do get tired, but in terms of being burned out, I love photography. I do not get tired of taking pictures ever. It's always new, exciting, never boring. I seek out the best places in the world. In Brazil, we're photographing jaguars in the wild. In China, phenomenal landscapes or great culture. In Europe, there's wonderful villages at twilight and great history. So I'm always engaged, always fascinated by what I'm learning, and love what I'm capturing. So I don't get burned out. I've been doing this for, like I told you, 40 years, still not burned out. I love it.
And I think you also love teaching. Because you have
I do.
those workshops.
The people who take my tours are interesting, interested, intelligent, accomplished, creative. They love photography, so we have this common denominator. I learn from them, they learn from me, and I meet a lot of great people on my trips.
Probably one of the best things, at least for me, when I teach, is seeing what my students come up with, the images they make,
Yep.
and that really fills me with joy. And,
Me too, and often I'm inspired by what they do, and I think, oh, I didn't think of that. I should go try this. So it's a great relationship.
yeah, you both learn.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
You've been to over 90 countries, if your website is correct about that. Maybe it needs updating.
Yes.
I don't know. If you were to go back to one of them tomorrow and you had no constraints of any kind, where would you go?
Well, my favorite country probably is Indonesia.
Yeah.
I've been there 25 times. My wife is from there, and I feel very much at home there. I speak the language, so I can communicate to people, and they're very gentle and quick to smile, lovely people. So I just really like it.
Yeah, I'll second that. I've been to Indonesia only once, and the country is beautiful and it's so varied with those many islands.
Very much varied, and a lot to photograph there.
A lot to photograph.
Tremendous, yeah.
And as you said, the people are just fantastic. They are in my experience, some of the most welcoming and warm people that I ever met. So
Yeah.
I'd love to go back to Indonesia myself.
You should.
If I had to choose. So might go again soon. I don't know. We'll see. And any country or place that you have not been to that would be on the top of your bucket list, as they say?
There's a few countries. I'd really like to go to Iran. Americans, almost all Americans, I think, are afraid of Iran because the news and how they are. But I'm not going to go there and talk politics. I'm going to go there and take pictures of the great architecture and culture. And beside Iran, I would very much like to go to some countries in West Africa. I've been to Africa many times, but never Niger, Mali, Senegal, those countries. Let's see, where else? I've not been to Easter Island. I'd like to go there. It's a long list of places. Sri Lanka, another country I'd like to go to. The Maldive Islands, not been there. I've been to 92 countries, but there's a lot more than that.
What do you look for mostly when you go to a place? Is it the nature, the architecture, culture, the people?
All of it. All of it. I love great architecture, love wildlife. Wildlife's my favorite. I love exotic cultures. I love primitive cultures. So, and great landscapes. Patagonia, for example, is spectacular for landscapes. And India is spectacular for faces. And East Africa, South Africa is the best for wildlife. So I look for all of it. I love all of it.
And what are you up to tonight?
Well, tonight I plan to go to San Marcos Square because it's supposed to be flooded several inches, and that could make some really nice reflections. So that's on the agenda for tonight.
And there will be people in costume walking across the water.
Well, maybe they'd have to be pretty daring.
Yeah.
And if their costumes are long, they wouldn't be able to do it.
No.
But if they have shorter costumes, but of course I can always put them there digitally.
Yeah, sure. So it's been a great conversation. I'd like to thank you for your time. And, I think you will have. You already had dinner, or going to have dinner now?
I've already had.
You already had, so cool. So where can people go and find more about you online? It's a website.
My website, jimzuckerman.com.
Okay, we'll put a link to it in
Thank you.
the show notes.
Thank you.
And thanks again, and all the best for the rest of your trip here in Italy.
Thanks for the interview.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.